G'day guys, welcome back to another KD Gentleman video. In this one, we're going to have a further breakdown of the upcoming Return to Moria game released in 2023. Let's break it down further for you. The first question that a lot of people are asking is how many friends can play in it, and is it multiplayer online? During the trailer, we can see up to 6 players standing around and drinking, but on the Epic Games Store, they've mentioned you can have up to 8 players in a single game. The team from Free Range Games has said in a recent interview that you'll be able to sing in a group and drink, which will have an effect on your character's morale and fight away any despair being in a dangerous dark place of Moria. I'm sure it will have a similar feel like the Sea of Thieves where you can all sit around and play instruments, but instead you'll sing songs like Dwarven songs, which will then have an effect on your morale and actually just be a fun mechanic to run around Moria and sing together. The second part of the question is, will it be multiplayer online? Yes, I'm sure you'll be able to have your own private matches with you and your friends, but you can also open it up to other people to get you out of difficult spots. There's nothing confirmed yet about dedicated servers, but they are looking into it and might have this available upon release. They hinted at something similar to what Grounded has currently, when you can have multiple people host the same server at different times. So for one day I can be playing and hosting, and the next day my friend can start hosting if I'm not there, and it'll be the same game and the same saves files, which is actually a really good idea. Speaking of difficult places to get out of, will there be a map to it all? And the question is yes and no. Now, there is a full detailed map that you can see right now, which has the Western Gate where the Fellowship entered during the first movie.
And enter. What's the Elvish word for friend?
And then moving along to Balin's tomb, which is called the Chamber of Mazabul. And then also the Bridge of Khazad-dûm where Gandalf felt the Balrog.
You shall not pass!
And then where they leave out of the East Gate. The developers of the game said that it will be a procedurally generated environment, but they've also said it will be a procedurally generated world, which are two different things. The generated environment would have a map like this, but the loot and enemies would spawn in different areas, so it makes it different to play each time you go into a different seeded world. So instead of being able to go up to a certain area knowing that there'll be a certain monster there and having certain loot, it will be different all the time. A pro-gen world would have no set map, and you would have to discover the world, and it would be different every time you spawn into a different map. But I think there will be a bit of both. Developers have mentioned that they will have known features in there, like we already know of the Bridge Khazad-dûm where Gandalf fell, and then Balin's tomb when they started fighting the cave troll in Moria. So I'd assume that the maps would all be different, but they would have the same landmarks in different areas of Moria each time, which would make it really great for replayability and have your friends, and then you couldn't be able to cheese run it every time because it would be different. So this is going to actually be really good to replay the game many times over. Another big thing for players is what enemies are there to fight, and will it be just another slash and stab game until they're all dead, or more complex fighting? Again, I think a bit of both. The reason I say this is that there'll be hordes of orcs and goblins in there to fight out, and an occasional troll that will make it slightly harder to fight again. But there are mysteries in the deep that the orcs are afraid of. For many years, the Balrog slept in Moria for the goblins were too afraid to wake it. But what else is in the deep that the goblins don't want to cross? And as you discover through Moria and you go deeper and deeper into the mines, the difficult the bosses will get, and the more difficult the enemies will become. You choose your own adventure with how deep you want to go and how complex you want to make the fighting, which I think is really great on how the whole game will work. So a final question to ask is, what else is there to do apart from killing orcs and trolls? Well, there's actually quite a lot. This is a survival crafting game, so you have to keep an eye on your food and water, but also your light and noise discipline. But that will also take into effect your sanity and despair, which will help other factors that I just mentioned. So you have to have light to keep happy, have to keep away the darkness to keep you sane, but also have to worry about eating and sleeping and drinking water. There's also a lot of base building, and which is part of the name of the game. And we can have a huge potential, as the dwarfs are known for their great craftsmanship and great halls. With any survival game, you're going to need to explore the area. And the dev team in their recent interview have said that they're going to take this on how that will affect the progress of your game. To unlock old skills in forging, you'll have to go to new areas of Moria and clear out the enemies and clean it up. I think this is going to be a little bit of like Atlantis sort of feel, where all technology was lost when the mines of Moria was taken over by the enemy. So you have to go back, rediscover technology, rediscover new forging methods, and then proceed on and building newer and better weapons. There also is the metaphorical and the physical sense of cleaning up. So you have to clean out the enemies from the area, but then also you can physically clean up Moria as well in preparation for the dwarves to live there once again. If you're a diehard Lord of the Rings fans or a survival crafting lord, then Return to Moria is going to be an epic game for you to play over and over again by yourself or with friends. We're really looking forward to it coming out in 2023, and we hope you are too. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video so you're going to get more videos of Return to Moria before it's released. We're going to be covering as much as I can before it comes out, and we're going to go into in depth as much as possible with everything there is. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you guys.